Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Rose Yao, and I lead product for Google Maps platform.
And hi, I'm Mike Pegg, and I lead the Maps developer relations team. So thanks to everyone for joining us here at I/O this morning. For those of you from all over the world on the live stream watching on YouTube, either right now or maybe later after I/O, welcome. So some of you know that we made a Google Maps platform announcement last week, and we want to talk to you more about that today. Many of you are interested in learning more about how some of these changes will impact your implementation, and we hope this session will help you to answer some of those questions. So let's get started. First, back in April of 2005, and before I joined Google, I was amazed by what developers were doing with open data and Google Maps. Here's the first Google Maps mashup created by Paul Rademacher. Paul was looking for an apartment in San Francisco, and he was really frustrated by needing to go back and forth between apartment listings and Google Maps, which had just launched only a few months earlier. So Paul did it himself. He mashed up Craigslist housing data and map tiles directly from Google before there was even an API. So I personally got really excited about this. All the creativity that was coming from developers and designers, and I decided to start a blog that was devoted entirely to this topic, and I called it Google Maps Mania. This was my first post on April 13th of 2005. So for the next few years, I would get up every morning attempting to chronicle everything that developers were doing with Google Maps. And I formed some lasting friendships with a lot of the developers from around the world that were doing this. So there was a lot of really cool mashups and tools being created. And I think one of my favorites was tools that would let you drill through the earth and figure out where you would end up if you went straight through the earth. There was a video blogger named Zifrank, who decided to make this Earth Sandwich project. And he made a tool with a map on the left and the map on the right. And when you moved the map, you could see, if you centered it, where you'd end up. And he challenged people to place a piece of bread on one side and the exact opposing point on the Earth to place a piece of bread and make the world's first Earth sandwich. Super awesome. So in June of 2006, Google invited me to speak at its first ever developer event. This is me at the Geo Developer Day at the Googleplex, and I'm really excited. A few months later, my dream came true. Google offered me a job, and now here I am talking to you.
Continue your journey in history a little bit. Back in June of 2005, Bret Taylor penned this blog post. The world is now your JavaScript-enabled oyster, introducing the Google Maps API to the world. At that time, with the help of Mike's blog, Google saw all the incredible things that you guys are doing with your data and Google Maps. So we decided to create an easier way for you to build these awesome tools and mashups. I also joined Google in June of 2005 in the APM program. It stands for Associate Product Manager, but in reality, it was a warning label for engineers that I really didn't know what I was doing yet. So it was a really amazing time to join Google because we were going beyond search into products like Gmail, video, and Google Maps. My first job was on Gmail team, but I have to admit, Maps is always really near and dear to my heart because I literally have no sense of directions. I leave a store at the mall, and I go the wrong direction every single time, guys. So Google Maps has been a lifesaver for me. So I'm really excited, 13 years later, to stand in front of you guys as someone who works on Google Maps platform. I think it's really amazing how life has changed since Bret penned that blog post. First of all, we have more than JavaScript-enabled oysters. We have iOS and Android-enabled oysters, too. We have more than maps. We have places and routes and all sorts of products that Google has launched into this platform. And I think the key is our product went from really simple web-based use cases, like store locators, to powering billions of users across multiple industries, like ride-sharing, real estate, travel, gaming, and so much more. Our expectations as consumers have also changed. Today, we really expect technology to help us with our daily lives, like getting to work, buying groceries, or getting dinner. Google Maps platform is the foundation for this new wave of products and services. So I'm really, really excited to be part of that journey, to stand in front of you guys today, to partner with you developers, to see how we can build things that help people as they move around the world. We're constantly iterating to deepen our understanding of the real world and to bring those improvements to our users and to you, our developers. So let's talk about a few of these things. First, I want to emphasize, on a daily basis, we make over 25 million edits a day to reflect the pace the world is changing. Your users are benefiting from these same benefits, same updates. It's backed by infrastructure that serves billions of daily requests to Google Maps, and we serve more than 1 billion users in over 200 countries and territories. To better serve those users, we want to make sure we speak the local language. So that's why we launched support for 39 new languages on Google Maps and Google Maps platform this year. We added support for languages like Albanian, Danish, Icelandic, Ukrainian, Vietnamese, Zulu, and more. Because after all, what is a local product or service if you don't speak the local lingo? And these languages are spoken by more than 1.25 billion people worldwide. So that means that the applications you build will also have that support. You heard from the I/O keynote how we're using AI and ML to help users on Google Maps. We're using the same technology on the developer platform. So for example, we know that getting good address and geocoding coverage globally is really, really hard, particularly in countries like Brazil, where buildings change pretty often. So this is a typical street view imagery in Brazil. This is a typical apartment building. And I don't know if you guys have better eyes than I do. Can you find the actual address in this image? It took me a little bit too. So the good news is we were able to train an ML model to do this better and faster than I can. And that's really what street numbers look like in most parts of São Paulo. So using our machine learning and vision technology, we were able to add over 30 million geocodes to Brazil this year. Finally, we know that details really matter. So let's talk about a few things that we've done with both our Maps and Directions API. So 2 recent changes to Maps. We made a number of visual improvements to our base Maps design. The new style comes with an updated color scheme and typography to make it really easier for users to focus and read. We also updated the pin style that marks points of interest so they really pop on the map compared to the previous circular icons. The great news, you don't need to do anything to get this new map design. It's already being served to you through our APIs. You can still customize this using our styling APIs so that it reflects your use case, your brand, right, and your details. But you can also just get this out of the box. The other thing we did was improve our render. So the Web Maps API launched 8 years ago. Before, tablets, smartphones, touchscreens were widely used. We just completed an effort to revamp the internals of this client library, allowing it to better handle touch events and take advantage of modern browser features such as request animation frame and enhanced GPU support via well-changed CSS. Tiles now load continuously during touch gestures such as pinch, zoom, or pin, and no more unfilled gray areas or over-zoomed tiles that only refresh when you let go. Markers and info windows stay the same size during these zoom animations. They don't get oddly small or big. We know that the details matter to you as much as they do to us here at Google Maps. So we want to thank our active developer community for helping us test and roll out this change. As developers, you guys know how challenging it is to get something this universal to work right for every browser and every use case. We couldn't have done it without you guys. And we really want to make sure that this launch reached the quality bar that we set for ourselves. So this has been our experimental branch for several months, and will be coming to all developers in the next couple of weeks. If you want to get a head start or just help us test new features, you can always change your version number to 3.exp, so you always get the latest and greatest from our JavaScript APIs. And I think the greatest validation doesn't come from me or anyone else on stage who works at Google, but comes from you, our developers. So thank you, Alex, on GitHub, for giving us this feedback. This API has such sweet, smooth zooming. What else can we say? All right, so you heard about walking nav and AR walking nav via the camera. So you know that to make that happen, we really need to understand what the world around us looks like, and really understand where sidewalks are and crosswalks are, and how we can give people a great experience as they're walking through busy cities. So we're excited to announce the latest improvements to our directions API, our HT walking directions. So basically, we've improved our understanding of the world for walkers, particularly sidewalk geometry and pedestrian walkability. And we're bringing that improved model to our APIs. In the last month, we've been getting feedback from our active developers. In the next few weeks, we'll be launching this to everyone. If you're using Walking Directions API, no code changes needed. You'll just get an automatic upgrade.
So Rose just talked about some recent improvements that we're making and rolling out to you. As we continue to make these improvements and look back at the last 13 years, we just want to thank you for everything that you've done and the journey we've been on together. We're continuing that journey today as we introduce the Google Maps platform. It includes all the same APIs that you know and love and a streamlined developer experience, new industry-specific solutions like our recent gaming offering, and a smooth path to scale as you grow. We want your experience building on the Google Maps platform to be a more simplified development experience that's scalable to your needs and easy to use. To start, we're simplifying our 18 individual APIs and putting them together into 3 core products: Maps, Routes, and Places. These core products work together to provide the building blocks you need to create location-based applications. Maps is a great set of tools for visualizing the world through maps, satellite, and aerial imagery, and Street View. Routes is optimized for figuring out how to get from point A to Z. Places is perfect for answering simple questions around the world like, what is this place or address? And the good part is that all these new updates will work with your existing code with very little changes required. Now let's talk about pricing. We're simplifying our pricing for you and moving from several pricing plans to just one. With this new pricing plan, all developers will receive the first $200 of monthly usage for free per registered account. Most of our active developers today fall into this free monthly tier. To gain access to this $200 of monthly usage free, you just need to sign in and set up an account on the Google Cloud Console. And when you set up billing for the first time, you can also take advantage of a $300 Google Cloud Platform free trial credit, which you also can put toward your Maps platform monthly usage. We've also done away with annual upfront commitments, termination fees, and usage limits with this new pricing plan, just to keep it super simple for you. Let's take a look at some of the changes we're helping to help you to optimize your monthly usage, starting with Place Autocomplete within the JS API. So first, Place Autocomplete returns place predictions for your app. So it takes a text search string from your user, like restaurants or museums, and then it provides autocomplete functionality as the user types. So think of when you type in Google Search or in Google Maps, how that autocomplete works. So in Place Autocomplete, we're now giving you the option for session-based billing, instead of charging for the individual characters a user would type to find something. That used to include backspaces even. So this is done now as a complete session. And you also don't need to worry about long languages that would have long names. So this slide here shows the on-page load configuration steps you'd take. You set up the map and you create a session token. Then once you have that token, you'll use it for all requests in the session through auto-completion usage and the final place details lookup. So next, we show how it looks to hand that session token off to our getDetails endpoint. And then this will supply information about the places that are returned from the autocomplete getQuery predictions, I should say, as a total session. So you can also end a session easily by generating a new session token. And you should do this when your user very obviously starts a new activity. So here, place detail with field masking is applied to optimize the efficiency of the queries by only retrieving the specific fields that you want to return to your user. So these are just a few examples of optimizations we're suggesting to increase the overall efficiency of your implementation. We prepared a full guide of these optimization tips that you can take a look at as well. So registered developers of the Maps API should have received an email with the subject line, important changes to your Google Maps API account. And that details all the changes for you. And if you're new to Google Maps platform, you can check out this short link, g.co/mapsplatform/pricing, to learn more about pricing information there. So we want the management of your projects to be really easy as well. To make this happen, we're using the the Google Cloud Platform console, which the Maps platform is integrated in. So when you're on this console, you can do things like create projects. You can manage, track, and analyze your API keys and usage. You can even generate billing usage reports by exporting out to Google BigQuery. And you can easily access new Google Cloud products since you're on the Cloud Platform console. So starting this week, all Google Maps platform developers will also receive free customer support. We want this to be a platform that you can rely on no matter what you're doing with it. So we're offering 24-hour support, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And you can also access that free customer support from the console. So how do we scale all this for you? What happens today when your site or app becomes popular is that there's a manual effort that's followed, which you have to do to upgrade your pricing plan. So with Google Maps platform, if your product grows beyond that $200 of free monthly usage, we'll automatically update you to the next pricing tier without any action on your part. And we'll apply pricing discounts and let you scale easily with less downtime and potential performance issues along the way. You also scale quickly with Google's global infrastructure without having to think about capacity, reliability, or performance, no matter what causes your service to peak. Gojek is a really great example of this. They're one of Indonesia's largest ride-sharing and delivery companies with over 30 million app downloads and 250,000 drivers working for it. And they're mostly on motorbikes in Indonesia. So they use Google Maps platform in all components of their service. The passenger app displays maps and allows users to select a destination using our Places API, while address entry is handled through the autocomplete API that I mentioned earlier. The driver uses an app to connect with the passengers, and then the Directions API provides the best route and an accurate ETA time. So there's actually a lot going on in the background with the help of Google Cloud Platform as well. Gojek generates about 4 terabytes worth of events data per day, and they use GCP to enable hundreds of thousands of concurrent transactions. One of the more interesting use cases is how they use Google BigQuery through that data that's being exported to enable better insights and faster data discovery as a business. We also know and care about the unique needs of nonprofits, crisis responders, startups, and news organizations. So starting today, we're significantly scaling our teams to accept more applications for these public programs. We offer these programs to provide support to you in a number of ways, including financial credits that you can put toward your monthly usage. One great example of a nonprofit currently taking advantage of this program and the monthly credits is PulsePoint. PulsePoint's an app that crowdsources where life-saving measures are needed for cardiac arrest victims. PulsePoint alerts its app users who are in walking distance of one of these medical emergencies that assistance is needed right away, ensuring that life-saving CPR can begin even before an ambulance arrives. Let's take a look at this quick story.
6-week-old Nolan's not breathing. He's not breathing. And I was helpless to help him.
Are they awake at all?
No.
My cell phone made a noise that I hadn't heard before, and it said CPR needed.
I just saw him come running in.
You could see the look in his eyes. He was like, help me, help me.
The PulsePoint app allows us to leverage the people that want to be a part of the solution. He was the closest resource.
If he didn't have that app, Nolan might not be here.
A phone saved my son's life.
So it's in situations like this where an accurate understanding of the real world and the ability to connect people in times of need are important. These are the kinds of nonprofits that Google Maps platform is eager to support through these public programs. To learn how you might qualify for one of these programs, visit the FAQ section of our pricing page. So many of you over the past week have wondered how this new pricing will apply to your specific Google Maps platform implementation. We build a transition tool to easily identify and merge all of your projects together into one view on the console and make monthly usage estimates. When we first launched the Google Maps API, clear, easy-to-understand technical documentation was at the center of this for you. We're keeping our focus on this by making a detailed guide available to dig into all the changes that we're making with the Google Maps platform.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
So Mike just spent a lot of time talking about the product changes and our principles behind them. Simplified, scalable, easy to use. Those are things that we're keeping in mind no matter what we're building. We also talked about our core products, maps, routes, and places. These 3 products make up the building blocks of any location-based experience. But I want to spend a little bit more time today diving into new category products we've been building called industry solutions. Our first 3 offerings in this category are asset tracking, ride sharing, and gaming. These represent when we want to go deep in the industry with a strong location-based need and really work with the developers to understand how we can partner with them beyond the basics. So let's take a look at a few examples. We talked about ride sharing. It's an industry that I think we're all using the products. We're all getting to work and dinner and home, right? And we realized that it was growing really, really fast, and the understanding of the real world was critical to the industry, and we wanted to partner with the developers in this space. So when we talked to Lyft and GoJet and Grab, we realized there was a lot of products we could build together that would make a real difference to key metrics like driver efficiency, customer cancellation rates, and honestly, just how they run their business and their product. So let's talk about one of the first features we launched for this industry and why it really matters. An average ride-sharing driver has to constantly switch between the driver app and Google Maps for directions. In the time of that app switch, they could have missed the critical turn, adding minutes to the customer pickup, especially in busy city centers with one-way streets. Those of you who live in SF, you probably know exactly what I mean. Today, it takes about 3 taps for the driver to get from accepting a new passenger to turn by turn in Google Maps. So when we talked to these developers, he said, what if we build an SDK completely optimized for driver efficiency and provide the turn-by-turn directions in the driver's app itself? This is one of the first features we've been rolling out with ride-sharing partners like Lyft, and it's really just the beginning of what we can do together. The same thing happened when we looked at gaming. We started talking to developers. We asked them what they wanted to build and why, what tools they used, and how they wanted to run their business and what success looks like to them. So the result is a highly customizable 3D map render based on our model of the real world, built on Unity, a platform we never supported before, but the most popular platform for mobile game development, and a custom API to answer a question, where can you play games in the world? Now, this may seem like a simple question, but let's talk about why it's a little more complicated than it sounds. So let's say you're figuring out how to do a really fun scavenger hunt. That sounds doable. Okay, but how do you pick the best points in Delhi? And then you also have players in other parts of the world, let's say Sydney, right? How do you make sure that they always find the best, most prominent places to find the treasure, to hunt the dragon, to do whatever you want them to do in that game? Sao Paulo, right, is another example where we just talked earlier about how hard it is to find great POIs in that city. So you can imagine scaling this globally, right, because you want your game to be played by everyone in the world, becomes a really hard problem. And this is one of the core problems that the Playable Locations API is designed to solve. So I'm talking a lot. Let's just see a game in action. In this case, let's catch some ghosts. Can we turn the sound up? OK, who doesn't love this music? So coming soon to a phone near you will be a Ghostbusters game built on Google Maps platform. And now I'm just going to hand it back to Mike.
Sure. OK, so you've just heard about the ways that we want the Google Maps platform to be simplified, scalable, and easy to use. And Rose has given you a sneak peek into what's ahead with our industry solutions, including gaming and ride sharing. We want you to know that we're making a new commitment to you to invest in this platform and to make it ready to serve your needs. If you're new to our tools or an existing developer, visit g.co/mapsplatform to get started. So if you have any questions today or want to discuss new things you'd like to see us build, please come by our office hour session later today here at I/O. And tomorrow, we're going to take a deep dive into how we built our gaming product, which Rose just gave a short preview of. This will be a chance not just to understand the product, but also the process for partnering with developers on the Google Maps platform. The gaming session tomorrow will be at 10:30 a.m. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, look for the talk that's labeled Build Real-World Games with Google Maps. And thanks, everyone, for spending time with us today to learn more about Google Maps platform. Thank you.
Thank you.